So you must be ready to hear me talk about Split from 2017. I'm Brian McCord. Here we go. Split, directed by M. Night Shyamalan and starring James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy, is a horror thriller that really surprised me. The story centers on Casey Cook, a teenager and outcast who is kidnapped along with two other girls. Their kidnapper is a man with many names, a man with split personality disorder. The personality who kidnapped her is named Dennis, an OCD groundskeeper type person who's teamed up with another personality named Patricia to form the Horde. They're a cult of personalities that worship the beast, a 24th personality that wants to feast on the flesh of the unpure. Dennis, Hedwig, and Patricia struggle for control of Kevin's body as they attempt to facilitate the beast's arrival. I wasn't expecting that much from Split, but honestly, it's really good. It's not as good as Unbreakable, which I talked about earlier. I guess the story might be a little more interesting, so there's some things there going on. Split has a lot of great acting in the foreground, and James McAvoy is doing a ton of work here. He's playing at least 8 characters in this movie, and they're all distinct, and you can tell which one he's playing just by how he's holding his body and doing his voice, and it's insane. Like, it's so crazy how this is a horror thriller, and you're supposed to be rooting for this girl, and yet the villain is so distinct and has so many things going on, and it's so complicated. And also, there's room for him to be funny in the middle of all this. James McAvoy is gonna make you laugh a couple times, probably just because he's doing a lispy kid voice,
etc.
or maybe because he's just pretending to be a woman. And it's an interesting, compelling story. Much like Unbreakable, if you just pay attention, it's not that complicated. Like, it seems complicated because I'm talking about a guy with 23, 24 different personalities, and all of them have different motivations and stuff going on. Honestly, it totally makes sense, and I'm glad kind of that there was never a point in the movie where you're really confused about who a certain personality is. I mean, he tries to fool the therapist, but even she's not really fooled. Another thing I like about this movie is the other girls that Casey is with, and Casey herself, they're victims of this situation, but they're also not stupid. I'm really used to that in horror movies where you have main characters who are just complete idiots and they fall over when they're running and stuff like that. These characters aren't idiots. Even the side characters, the other two girls, aren't stupid. I mean, they don't know what's going on as much as Casey does, but they sort of understand what's going on. When you do that, when you make a victim in a movie not a complete idiot, it makes the bad guy or the antagonist scarier. I think that was one of the strengths of this movie. I was gonna do a spoiler part for this video, but I'm not anymore, because now that Glass is out, it's pretty much already spoiled for you. This movie is connected to Unbreakable. One of the great things about that is if you're watching the movie for the first time, or if you watched it a couple years ago for the first time, because I've already spoiled it and it's already spoiled now, it's not immediately clear that it's a sequel to Unbreakable. There's nothing really giving that away until the end. So it's fun to look at it from the point of view of someone who already knows that and try to see if there's any clear connections. And I think the clearest connection there is that in the case of both movies, they use flashbacks for both the antagonist and the protagonist to show you what their lives were like before and to show character development. I really like that in both movies, the way they handle that. I didn't talk about it in my Unbreakable review, unfortunately. I forgot. It's kind of cool that connection's there, that in Split you can also see like what Kevin's life was like as a kid with his abusive mom and what Casey's abusive past was also like, and how those characters have a sort of a connection, and that leads into the next movie as well, which I'm gonna go talk about. So if you want to see the final review in this series, if you want to see my Glass review, go check that out. Split's a great movie. It's definitely worth a watch. I'd say it's somewhere between buy and rent, so go check it out. I definitely recommend it. It's fun, especially as a secret backdoor sequel to Unbreakable. Now, go watch me talk about Glass. Thank you guys for watching. Bye, McCordians.